Good evening, everyone. Councillors, officers, members of the public here, and also those online. Welcome everyone to tonight's hearing of submissions committee meeting. My name is Councillor Christine O'Laris. I am the Mayor of Darebin City Council and I'm the chairperson of tonight's meeting. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all here tonight and I declare the meeting open at 6:33 p.m. So the meeting is being live streamed. We've got quite a lot of people joining us tonight online, keeping out of the cold. So recording will be made available on the council website as soon as practicable after the meeting. I want to start, of course, by acknowledging that we are meeting on the land of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people, who are the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which Darebin stands. I want to recognise their continuing connection to land, to waters and to culture, and pay my respects to elders past and present. I want to welcome and acknowledge all of the councillors here tonight. We have got Councillor Emily Dimitriadis joining us online. We've got members of our executive team, staff, and also, no, we do not have a municipal monitor. Online? They're online, yes. Online, we have, thank you. Thanks to everyone joining us this evening. There are no apologies this evening, so we will get going. So first up, if anyone has any conflicts of interest in relation to, I guess, one of the presentations, please do make sure that you declare that conflict and the nature of the conflict, and similarly if things arise throughout the meeting. I'm going to first start by getting us to just confirm the meetings of this same meeting a year ago. So the hearing of submissions committee meeting from 9th of December 2024. Yep. Is that the right date? Yes. Okay. Sorry. It was a property hearing, that one. So is anyone willing to move those minutes? I've got Councillor Boglis and a seconder, Councillor Jelly. All those in favour, please raise your hand, and that's carried unanimously. So thank you. All right. Just in terms of our health and safety, Council has a responsibility to make sure that everyone attending tonight's meeting feels safe both physically and emotionally. I just want to remind everyone in attendance to be respectful to one another as outlined in our governance rules. So that means preserving silence in the chamber other than when you have been asked to speak and address the meeting. It means when you do address the meeting to do it in a courteous and respectful manner and take direction from the chairperson, myself, whenever called upon to do so. It also means just, I guess, keeping your language respectful as well. So please, if anyone engages in conduct that is improper or disorderly, I may direct that person to cease their conduct and you need to comply with that direction. Okay. Apologies. We need to go back to the confirmation of minutes. It was actually the 12th of May 2025 was the date. So could we just, again, do I have a mover for that meeting? Thank you. Councillor Boglis, seconder Councillor Jelly. Everyone in favour? Thank you. Unanimously carried. Thank you. Okay, so our meeting tonight is essentially to hear from our community about your thoughts about our draft budget and draft our Darebin plan. We are hearing verbal from verbal submitters this evening. We had all in all 269 submissions, which is pretty amazing engagement from the community. We did have a large number of people saying they were coming this evening, but we've had a smaller number who have formally said that they're coming. So I will go through that list first, and then at the end I will check if there's anyone who's come along who didn't actually register to speak, and we will let you have your say as well on your submission. All verbal and written submissions will be considered and help inform the draft 2025-26 council budget and the draft our Darebin council plan, both of which will be presented to a special council meeting on the 30th of June 2025 for consideration. Each submitter this evening will have up to 2 minutes to speak in support of their submission, and we would ask that you try and keep your submission to 2 minutes or less, please. And there will be a time clock up, and we will remind you if you're getting close to that time. So. I also want to remind councillors and our viewers watching online that this evening is simply about hearing of these submissions. So there will be no questions from councillors and no decisions on these matters will be made tonight. So councillors, I'd also like to advise submitters that all of your detailed submissions have been circulated to all councillors, so we've all had a chance to read all 269 of them, and we've reviewed them all. Okay, so submitters, when I call your name, please come to the lectern if you're in the room to make your submission, or if you're joining online, please turn on your microphone and camera to address the committee, and as I said, you will have 2 minutes each. So, first up, we have James Scofell. I believe James is online. There you go.
I am, yeah, thank you.
Please correct me if I said your name incorrectly.
Fairly close, but I'm used to it, so that's okay.
So go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Great, thank you. Well, I'm speaking in support of item 112 in the Capital Works proposal, which is for irrigation and turf upgrade works for Johnson Park in Northcote. Recently, over 400 local residents signed a petition calling for upgrade works in Johnson Park. So we are thrilled that the council is listening about this and taking the issue seriously. Johnson Park, as many of you will know, is a beautiful, large, historic space and a central part of the Northcote community. Unfortunately now, with the exception of the children's playground area, it is essentially unusable. In summer, it's a dirty dust bowl. In winter, it's this vast mud patch. And just an example, last weekend, my 7-year-old son wanted to kick the football with me. And even though we live just metres from Johnson Park, we had to get in the car and drive to Edinburgh Gardens because Johnson Park is simply not usable. And this is an issue that's been building for many years due to a lack of irrigation and care. It means that the grass and trees have died and weed and mud has taken over. And there have been some community campaigns in the past, but unfortunately, they have not led to kind of ongoing serious upkeep. So we feel that this park is in desperately need of these works. And we also believe it ties in strongly with the priorities of the Darebin Council, the 2018 Open Space Strategy, committed to creating a city where, and I quote here, local people have access to beautiful, functional, contemplative and active spaces that improve their health and well-being and increase their social and cultural connections. And Johnson Park is such a central part of the community. I think there's something like 10,000 people living within a close radius. Westgarth Primary School is nearby as well. So it really is used by a lot of people. And it's such an essential part to the fabric of our community. It's a place where people should be able to play and walk and run and sit and think and have picnics and birthday parties and kick the footy. But in its current state, it's just not simply fit to meet these needs.
Thanks.
And we believe that this is a fantastic use of ratepayer funds. So yeah, strongly urge the council to approve these important works in Johnson Park.
Thank you very much, James. Yeah, appreciate that. So, next person is Matt Carr. Matt Carr is from the Victorian State Emergency Services Heidelberg unit and should be online. There's Matt.
Good evening.
Welcome, Matt.
Mayor and councillors. Thank you very
You've got
much.
2 minutes.
Okay. So I'm from the Heidelberg unit of the Victorian State Emergency Service, and we're your local SES unit providing emergency support to the entire Darebin community. And our unit's run by local volunteers who commit considerable time responding to requests for assistance from the community, assisting police, fire and ambulance and support roles, and conducting important community engagement activities to educate and prepare the community for storms, floods and extreme weather events, which are ever increasing, of course, due to climate change. And we also attend the Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee meetings in Darebin, which are held on a quarterly basis. And tonight we just wanted to highlight some of the budget pressures our unit is facing. So annually we receive an allocation of $33,000 from the state government, while the cost to operate our unit is over $60,000 per year. And what this means is that in addition to operational activities, our volunteers are required to commit significant efforts in fundraising. So in the current budget review, we're seeking financial support from the City of Darebin just to cover a small portion of our operating costs and to reduce the fundraising burden on our members. So we are requesting an annual and ongoing payment of $5,000 to $10,000 be allocated to the Heidelberg SES within the upcoming budget. And we do understand that council cannot approve every funding request. However, we'd like to point out that our services do take a large load off council resources, and this represents considerable savings to council. In the current year to date alone, we've responded to 281 requests for assistance across Darebin. And with your support, we're confident we can maintain the effectiveness of our emergency response efforts and further strengthen the safety and resilience of the Darebin community. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for the great work that the SCS does. Yeah, appreciate your time. Next speaker is Nicholas Bourdignon, I believe, also virtually attending. There's Nick.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So thank you. I'm requesting funding to close Rathmine Street and Gilly Street in Fairfield Northcote through traffic at the intersection with Heidelberg Road. For years, residents in the areas bounded by Kane Avenue, Victoria Road, Westgarth Street and Station Street have been asking the council to help to stop rat runners who abuse local streets, mainly to access Heidelberg Road and Station Street. These commuters speed on residential streets, ignore stop signs and regularly display dangerous behaviour. It is a miracle there hasn't been a serious accident. The council declined to act until very recently, and what it has done has been unfortunately too little too late. I'll give you 2 examples. There is a weekday morning no left turn trial on Victoria Road at Thompson and Kane, but unfortunately it is failing as commuters simply ignore the restrictions. I stood at Thompson Street this morning at around 7:30 and counted over 30 cars turning off Victoria Road in the course of about 3 minutes. There was also a plan to make the Railway Place Station Street intersection in Fairfield one way, which would have reduced commuter traffic on Gillies and Rathmine Streets. But this plan was abandoned after some hysterical and false claims about this restricting access to schools and healthcare. Rat running is a chronic problem throughout the local government area, but this is quite acute and it needs an enduring solution. The proposal is to fund the permanent closure of Rathmine and Gilly Streets to through traffic at Heidelberg Road. It'll stop a lot of the rat running and critically won't impact locals who'll still be able to access Heidelberg Road and other areas very easily. Secondly, requests that the weekday morning no left turn restrictions are made permanent and encourage the police to enforce them. Thank you for listening. I think this is something where the council's focus on safety and sustainability can turn words into action.
Thank you very much, Nick. And thanks for your time this evening. The next submitter is Karen Large. Karen is speaking on behalf of the Darebin Climate Action Now group. Do we have Karen? Is Karen speaking? Sorry, we're just having a bit of trouble getting Karen at the moment. Will I come back to Karen? Oh, here she is. Karen, welcome. Go ahead. You've got 2 minutes. Oh, you're not Karen? No. Wrong person. Hello, the other Karen, anyway. We'll move to the next person. We'll come back. Next one is Lindsay Brown, also online.
Hello, have you got me? Oh.
Yes, we do.
Hello.
Hello, Lindsay. Thank you for coming along. You've got 2 minutes to present your submission, so go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you. Yes, my name's Lindsay Brown, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak directly to the councillors, so thank you for that opportunity. I'm here to raise the profile of the tennis facilities outside NARC and ask council why these facilities have not been considered in the forward budget. The tennis courts, currently under partial lease by Northcote Tennis and open for public booking, have become a vibrant part of the Northcote community. I personally take tennis lessons there. My sons have taken tennis lessons and played there, along with many of their school friends and their parents from Westgarth Primary School and other schools. Northcote Tennis has done an amazing job creating a sense of community on these courts, increasing participation and fostering a strong sense of community. In addition to classes for beginners, intermediates, group lessons, adults, kids, cardio tennis, and themed community have a hit tournaments, Northcote Tennis hosts a Pride Night, Girls on Court nights to promote access to tennis for underrepresented groups. Its Hot Shots junior tennis participants get opportunities to meet tennis players at the Australian Open, like John, who you might have seen on TV, who recently met Carlos Alcaraz, world number 2, and was followed up with a media spot by Channel 9 News at our tennis courts. And as much pride as we have in our club, the courts themselves are an embarrassment. The courts desperately need resurfacing. The only toilets available are a single portaloo rented by Northcote Tennis at their own expense, which is not wheelchair accessible. There are no change rooms, not to mention no showers or a kitchen or any of the facilities you'd expect at a thriving sporting club, and really any of the facilities that any of the local cricket clubs already enjoy. These tennis courts are providing a growing and valuable space for community of all ages to come together and have great experiences. They also have an existing revenue source, not only from the Northcote Tennis tenancy, but also the court hire proceeds. I would ask the council to consider why these are not being reinvested into the asset that generates them in order to provide an appropriate level of service to community and support the great work that could easily grow into being the pride of Darebin, especially in the home of the Australian Open.
Thank you very much. Okay, will we try Karen again? Okay. Oh. Right down here. Okay. We're going to now hear from Sean from Rainbow Local Government. And Sean is online. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you, Mayor Alaris.
So you can go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity to provide input on Council's key strategic documents. The Victorian Pride Lobby, which runs the Rainbow Local Government campaign, is a community-based advocacy group that represents LGBTIQA plus Victorians, including those who live, study, work and recreate in Darebin. According to the Victorian Population Health Survey, 10.6% of Darebin residents are LGBTIQA plus. And I want to welcome the inclusion of an initiative to finalise and implement the LGBTIQA plus action plan in the Darebin plan. However, we recommend that this be expanded to include a commitment to maintain Rainbow Tick accreditation of council services. We also welcome the inclusion of action to develop the LGBTIQA+ action plan and implement Year 1 activities in the annual action plan, and funding to develop the plan in the operating projects. But again, recommend that this also include action to implement the LGBTIQA+ action plan, which may require an increase in budget. We welcome the inclusion of funding for the construction of Rainbow Crossing and High Street Preston in the draft budget and the Capital Works program, and we recommend that the actual annual action plan be amended to insert this action under Initiative 3.2.7. Finally, in June 2023, Council issued a statement of support for transgender and gender diverse people in sport, and it's important that this statement is backed up with action. In this regard, we recommend expanding the initiative in our Darebin plan about tailored sport and leisure activities and events to include trans and gender diverse people, and also recommend that the annual action plan be amended to insert an action under Initiative 1.4.1 to continue the trans and gender diverse swim nights at Reservoir Leisure Centre. And I can also echo the call for funding for the Northcote Tennis Centre and its fantastic Tennis Pride Nights. Thank you again for this opportunity to make this submission, and I look forward to your response in due course.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so next speaker is Andrew Mansfield. And Andrew is with us. Hi, Andrew. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. You've got 2 minutes to speak, so whenever you're ready, you can get started.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to quickly speak this evening. I'm here to represent the 205 traders of the Northcote Business Association. We're asking for an allocation to be made in the current budget to allow for some meaningful strategic planning to begin in order to establish a path to managing the increasing amenity issues within our precinct from graffiti and tagging. We've had a close economic development relationship with Darebin Council, and this has afforded us the opportunity to speak about the concerns of our members regarding graffiti and tagging in our area many times. Our members have directed our community to raise and highlight that this issue is one of the key ones that they believe is significantly negatively impacting our business community. Left unchecked, we're seeing increases in property damage, trespass, declining foot traffic, lowered perception of public safety, all of which are damaging our business community. In our letter to Council on the 7th of April, we acknowledge the difficulties in drawing together disparate stakeholders involved in the process. Our association does not have the mandate or the resources to be the lead in bringing these stakeholders together to explore what a solution looks like. The Northcote Business Activity Centre, and this is one of the central transit corridors for Darebin and the gateway to broader Darebin. We're asking for the opportunity via the current budget to start planning for and the implementation of a graffiti removal and ongoing management strategy for the Northcote Business Activity Centre to ensure our streetscape amenity reflects the value to Darebin of our business community. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay. We next have Cyprios Cipriano, who is in person. Welcome, and yep, turn the microphone on. That's it. You got 2 minutes.
Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
My name is Kip Cipriano. I'm a resident on Victoria Road, Thornbury. I, along with 40 other residents, strongly urge that no further funding or resources be allocated to any new bike lane projects, particularly separated bike lanes along Victoria Road in Northcote and Thornbury. This position aligns with the resolution passed at the council meeting on the 28th of January 25, where it was formally decided to abandon plans for separated bike lanes on Victoria Road. That resolution reflected clear community sentiment as demonstrated by over 600 signatories opposing the project on the grounds that Victoria Road already has functional bike lanes on both sides of the road. Revisiting or continuing to explore separated bike lane options along Victoria Road would not only disregard the will of the residents, but also divert valuable funds from our priority areas where need is greater and consensus is stronger. We ask that Council respect the outcome of its previous decision and uphold the expressed preference by ensuring no further action be taken on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening. We have Susie Latham joining us virtually. Hi, Susie.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about the Street Party program. I'm one of the organisers of the George Street Street Party, which we've had for 3 years. It's been great. People really look forward to it and love it, especially young people and isolated people in our street. We have old and young live musicians playing. We have egg and spoon race. We have plant and book swaps and sharing food. And it's really increased the sense of community and brought people together in our street. What happened last year, just days before the street party, was we found that the rules had changed and we had to, rather than just have residents at each end of the street with our fluoro vests, which we'd done the previous 2 years, we were told we'd need to hire a road closure company that was going to cost like hundreds of dollars. So because it was all last minute and whatever, we talked to council and council ended up footing that. But we're just devastated at the idea that we could lose this this really special thing in our street. Like, we understand the the liability issues with the road closure, but honestly, like, when the council did do it last year, we had one person at one end of the street, whereas previously we'd all like taken turns and, like I said, had one person at both ends. We were really, when we thought we could lose it, we were looking at all sorts of alternatives, like, do we start charging people to come to our street party? Obviously, that's ridiculous. You know, the wealthier people in the street, do we all chip in? I mean, that also makes it sort of patronising and a bit sort of, against the whole community spirit. Should we put it somewhere else? It just wouldn't be the same, that people can just walk out the front of their houses and, be there. And I think just because it's a council-initiated program and the rules have changed, I would really ask council to fund it because it aligns with your values and goals and community, cohesion and all that stuff. And please allow those that have already been established to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susie. Can I now ask Jason Goldsmith to come to the... Oh, he's online? Yeah. Online? Hi, Jason.
Thank you. Hello, thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everybody. So I'm the General Manager of Preston Lions Football Club, and we play at BT Connor Reserve. I wanted to speak to Council about the inadequate lighting in our car park and the safety risks associated with it. We have over 300 registered junior players, of which 30% are female, as well as senior women, plus many volunteers and support staff who work in the canteens and around the club each night. So outside of weekends, they are training or working there after hours at night time. And the lighting around our car park is very, very poor. So if it wasn't for the lighting provided by the floodlights on our pitches, it would be almost non-existent there. Some safety audits were conducted around Darebin, and council funds were previously used on a feasibility study on the lighting in the car park. We are yet to receive the results of this study, and we're wondering what has happened to upgrade that facility for us. So for some of the bigger games of soccer that we host at BT Connor, we take it on ourselves to hire portable lights at our own expense to make the place safer. And this is coming as a significant cost to us. And we're also in constant discussions with various departments at council over incidents in our car park, and there'll be plenty of records on file in regards to this, and they include rubbish being dumped, stolen cars being left there, trucks and containers remaining on site for months at a time, unregistered caravans in the car park, as well as people loitering around the premises. And we even had a recent case of a young girl being followed after a training session, which we've reported to council. So it's of utmost importance to the Preston Lions that the car park lighting is addressed. We want to keep assisting the community in providing a really safe place for kids and people to exercise, and we need your help for us to continue to provide that. So thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you, Jason, for making the time to come and talk to us. Next presenter is in person, I believe, Joanna Margolis from the Preston Athletics Club.
Good evening, councillors. On behalf of the Preston Athletic Club, Preston Reservoir Little Athletic Centre and members of the Darebin community, we respectfully request that the Darebin City Council consider allocating $15,000 of its 2025-26 capital works budget for a feasibility assessment of the existing lighting infrastructure at Edwards Lake Park Athletics Track. This assessment would help determine the most viable option for upgrading the lighting to meet current and future community needs. Improved lighting would not only enhance safety and accessibility, but also support broader participation in evening training and community activities. Last year, we came before this council to request support for a lighting upgrade at our facility. Unfortunately, this request was not approved. Over the past 12 months, the consequences of that decision have continued to be felt deeply across the Darebin community. The absence of adequate lighting has had a significant impact not only on safety, but also on access to recreational sport, community participation, and our shared goals of diversity and inclusion.
Faced with these challenges, our community was forced to take temporary action by installing portable maintenance floodlights to ensure activities could continue in the short term. While these have provided limited relief, they are far from a sustainable solution. Beyond their limited lighting capacity, these temporary lights have had unintended consequences, particularly on the nocturnal wildlife in Edwards Lake Park. After seeking advice from the Friends of Edwards Lake Park, we were advised that the current lighting setup is disruptive to the local habitat and should not be relied on long term. A detailed lighting upgrade proposal has been submitted, developed with input from the community members and the Friends of Edwards Lake Park, addressing both community needs and environmental concerns. We urge Darebin City Council to allocate $15,000 for a feasibility study on lighting at Edwards Lake Park Athletics Track, a vital first step towards community-focused, sustainable upgrade. Thank you.
Thank you both. Next speaker is online. We've got Helen Billy Jones. No, they haven't turned up, so we'll continue on. Next person is in person. We've got Christina Pier Domenico from Diverse. Welcome.
Hello, and thank you for Council's commitment in its new plan to the health, wellbeing, equity and inclusion for our community. I'm here to ask for Council's continued support in the Complex Support Program, an effective and trusted program that delivers on Council's commitment. As you already know, each year over 500 Darebin residents turn to this program when experiencing situations that no one should have to manage alone: housing instability, mental health, family violence, financial crisis and more. These issues are complex and they're interconnected, and Complex Support provides skilled, trauma-informed support that helps people navigate services, feel heard and regain a sense of control. The outcomes from this program are clear. 82% of people report less stress, 70% are more confident in seeking help. Whether it's a 60-year-old woman escaping violence or a man navigating homelessness and mental illness, this program responds quickly, it builds trust, and it supports lasting change. Council's $105,000 investment funds 4 days a week of support across 3 sites in Preston and Reservoir. It helps to resolve problems before they escalate, reducing pressure on health, justice, and community systems. The funding ends this month, and without full or part funding, our Darebin community will lose this essential service. Those with the most complex need will fall through the gaps, and responsibility will fall on volunteers, students, and frontline staff who aren't equipped for this work. We know that Council has many competing priorities, and this program is already working and already delivering. It's strongly aligned with the Darebin community vision, and it enables council to respond directly to the needs identified in its plan. It's a modest investment that has a powerful impact in prevention, connection, inclusion and wellbeing. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And yeah, that's great work. The next presenter is virtual. We've got Angela Hill from Friends of Bracken Creek, a subgroup of the Friends of Mary Creek. So welcome, Angela.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. This presentation is to support our written submission that we made as Friends of Bracken Creek, where we're proposing a new initiative and action be added to the draft annual action plan. And if you've got the submission, the map on page 3 of our submission will assist in identifying some of the areas we're talking about. So, who is Friends of Bracken Creek? We are residents who live on the west side of Northcote and Thornbury. We've been active for about 2 years and are an endorsed subgroup of Friends of Mary Creek. We do community litter cleanups and planting days, do regular bird surveys and run a free public history walk. Our core interest is in contributing to a great future for both the 5.72 hectare area of open space, which was reallocated from the Northcote Public Golf Course to public use in 2022, which is the light green area on the map in the submission, and for Bracken Creek itself. That is the darker blue line on the map running from the end of Mayor Park across the golf course to the Mary Creek. This creek section is one of the few surface level tributaries of the Mary Creek in inner Melbourne, and its presence reminds us that the Mary Creek is part of a much greater watershed and ecosystem. Both Bracken Creek and the Mary Creek here in this location are in very poor condition, but with some love, knowledge, forward planning and modest council funding, we could deliver some significant improvements for people, waterways and the environment. And the Friends of Mary Creek Committee generally and other subgroups would be happy to bring volunteers, promotion and engagement to work on this task. Our submission lists 4 key actions that could form a council plan initiative. They are a biodiversity plan, a public use plan, a focus on water quality improvements and future naming considerations. We think with this sort of strategy in place, significant opportunities to leverage funding and support for delivery through other entities would then be possible. We urge Council to pick up this initiative and we've suggested that a roundtable of interested stakeholders will be one way to commence these discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. That's great. All right, we've now got Ki Chung Kwok from Keon Park Football Club, who is here in person. Thank you. You have 2 minutes, and have you got the mic on?
I think so. Thank you, councillors. I'm representing Keon Park Soccer Club tonight, and I'd like to highlight why the 250,000 assigned for planning the next financial year should go towards a comprehensive master plan for the club at JC Donald East. And also, we need clarity on the 1.2 million, which was previously assigned to the rebuilding of the clubhouse, but has now disappeared in a larger pool of funds. So basically, the club has grown a lot in the last few years. When I first joined, Keon Park only probably had 7 junior teams, 1 senior man and resis, and 1 women's team. Today, we stand at 16 juniors, four of which are girls, and 2 women's team. So that brings us to be about 200 junior players and 80 senior players. So current facilities is simply not fit for purpose. It's male-oriented. It haven't been touched since it was built 40-odd years ago. And, the toilets are just horrible. So I'll invite all councillors to come down and have a look anytime the girls are playing. And they happen to be playing this Friday. And we only have 1 senior woman. So anyone's free, please come down and have a look. What the master plan must deliver inclusive, female-friendly, gender-neutral change rooms. Everything needs to be bigger. The kitchen, the referee facilities need to be bigger. Storage needs to be bigger. The master plan should also include long-term planning for the entire JC Donald East for community zones and all that, because for the amount of space we have, it just doesn't cut it. So the funding clarity is the most essential for us because we've got 600,000 from the state government, and that money, I believe, will disappear if we don't have it as part of the plan. And I'm sure everyone around the table can agree that, we could use the 600,000 extra. That said, we're not asking for more than what's already been previously assigned. We just simply want it to be planned out properly and make sure it's fit for purpose going forward and for the growth of the club. Because quite simply, the girls, we could easily have 7 more junior teams within 3 or 4 years if we do it right. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. So that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Aggie Vlahos online, I believe. We've just lost her, so we'll move to the next one and come back to Aggie. Suzanne Newton. And I believe Suzanne's made 2 submissions. So you get 2 lots of 4 minutes. 2 lots of 2 minutes, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure that I need that long. I assumed I just had 2, but I'll go ahead. So, Mayor and councillors, I urge you to have an open mind when it comes to deciding the final budget in 2 weeks' time and to meet the campaign commitments you promised the community in terms of climate at the end of last year. The 4-year draft council plan as it stands will fail to meet the 2041 Darebin community vision that the new council and community has worked on. In particular, the section of the vision that says Darebin has responded effectively to the climate emergency by implementing a circular economy and creating a sustainable, green and livable environment. The Darebin Council draft budget fails to include resources to deliver the outcomes of the climate emergency plan. This needs to be rectified and the plan needs to be fully funded to meet its goals. Apart from one line in the entire document that mentions bicycle paths, there is no resources allocated to active transport or dedicated separated bike lanes. This is despite our direct neighbours in Marybeck committing to spending at least $12 per head from rates funding on active transport infrastructure. As such, my budget asks it to fully fund the climate emergency plan so it can meet its goals, such as a pilot program of low emissions, climate resilient and food secure neighbourhood by 2027, and creating a program to electrify 1,000 households a year. None of the climate emergency plan actions can be delivered without resources. And 2, allocate at least $12 per head from rates funding on active transport infrastructure each year and make a commitment to continue that indexes that commitment to the rates cap for future years, meaning the amount will increase each year. In terms of the Darebin plan 25 to 29, it needs strengthening in the following areas. Unlike previous Darebin Council plans, there are no 10 big actions that make it clear significant actions that Council wants to achieve in its 4 years. Without 10 big actions, it's unclear where the Council is wanting to go and what will actually be achieved in the 4-year plan. Particularly, you have a Darebin Transport Strategy 2007 to 2027 that has actions including double the share of walking, cycling, public transport for all trips by 2027 and double the share of walking, cycling, public transport for journey to work trips by 2027. This is a clear target that falls in the period of the 4-year Our Darebin plan and has no pathway to get there and no mention of building separate bike lanes or relevant actions of the transport strategy, such as develop high quality key pedestrian and cycle links across Darebin. The plan also needs to match the ambition of breathing space, the Darebin Open Space Strategy, by increasing the quantity and quality of open space all residents have within 500 metres of home. The strategy aims for all residents to have access to open space within 500 metres of walking distance of their homes and improve the quality of open space. This needs tangible actions in the plan if it is to be achieved. And I think that is all that I want to say. So thank you, Mayor and Councillors, and all the best with the meeting on the 30th.
Thank you very much. I think, have we got? Okay, we're going to go to, Karen Bailey, who was here briefly earlier. And we'll just bring you back in. Karen, you've got 2 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Mayor Alaris and councillors. Thank you for your time. My name's Karen and I live with my family in the heart of Preston between Bell Street and Preston Market. Tonight I'm asking council to support the preparation of a master plan for Preston City Oval and the adjoining land beneath the elevated rail as part of the 2025-26 annual action plan and budget. Preston City Oval is the only publicly accessible green space in the core of the Preston Central Activity Centre. While the oval's currently primarily designed for and used by organised sport, it's also the only park for residents, workers and shoppers to relax, play or gather without crossing major roads and walking long distances. The oval's already serving a broader community function, but it lacks the supporting infrastructure, amenity and design to support this expanded use. As high-density housing development continues, with apartment buildings of 4 to 14 stories planned, this open space will become even more critical to the livability, health and well-being of the area. In its current condition, it's not fit for purpose, and without proper planning and investment will not meet the growing community's need for accessible multi-use green space. Given the limited ability to create new parks in central Preston, we must maximise the use of existing land. The oval and areas around it offer huge potential. A well-considered master plan would help reimagine this precinct to support passive recreation, diverse uses, and the broader community, while also continuing to support organised sport. A master plan would guide development over 10 to 15 years, be shaped by community feedback, provide costing, set priorities, and importantly, provide shovel-ready projects for state and federal investment, support future grant applications, and ensuring that developer public open space contributions are used effectively. This is a valuable opportunity to plan for a welcoming, inclusive, and sustainable community space that balances the needs of both sporting clubs and the wider community now and in the future. Thank you again for considering this important request.
Thank you very much, Karen. Okay, we've got a couple we might check back on. Okay, so I think we're going to have to leave it there. Yeah, we haven't been able to get Karen Large from DCAN, and Aggie dropped out. I know they've got their AGM this evening, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Yes, we do absolutely have their written submissions, and we will take note of those like everyone else's. Is there anyone else here who had a submission that they were planning to speak to that maybe didn't specifically register to do that? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. As I said, amazing number of submissions we got this year from people from all parts of the community, and also, you know, ranging from people with specific local issues in their neighbourhood through to sports clubs, friends of groups, not-for-profit organisations all doing amazing work in our community, and those advocating for our social role, I guess, or social and environmental role around climate change and around things like diversity and equity, and responding to, you know, the significant issues that we've identified in our plan, like homelessness, mental health, for example. So thank you, everyone, for your time and effort in submitting. Thank you to those who've spoken this evening. And yeah, just we will put great thought into all of your submissions, and the special meeting on the 30th will be where decisions will be made. So, do we have to move a motion? Have we got a motion? There's our motion. Okay. So, councillors, may I please have someone to move the motion? I have got Councillor Turi. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Selkos. All those in favour? Unanimously carried. Thank you, everyone. As there is no other business to consider this evening, I'd like to say thank you and good night to councillors, officers, members of the public, and everyone viewing online as well. And I declare the hearing of submissions committee closed at 7:22 p.m. and I'll now ask that the live stream